Yo, hello everyone. Welcome to a new live stream for Nasdaq and SPX price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. We're gonna see what the market is hiding for us today, and actually nothing is yet surprising. We have tackled, of course, the price since the starting of those zigzag in a wave one, and we have predicted a potential leading diagonal which is unfolding perfectly with our scenario as a recovery for the market. Now, of course, we are in a wave three of this leading diagonal. I would like to mention here one thing for you guys that, of course, I got two comments or notes about this. That everyone, I don't know if everyone, but those two persons were looking for my blue box. Which is the perfect fib level for wave 3. And I think those two persons potentially are just opening the videos just to take a look where is my blue box, and just not watching the video and just, okay, this is a target. Yeah, so guys, please watch the video full, and you have to hear what I'm saying during the analysis, because of course I said this like 100 times, that it is not necessarily to reach this area. Those are only the perfect fib level for a wave 3, the perfect fib level. But when we have a fib level for a wave 3 in a diagonal, what do you get? You get this. You get 0.618, this one, which is this one in the gray, which is exactly right here. It's an uncommon target for a wave 3, but it can be a target. A wave 3, as a rule in Elliott wave, is just to have the zigzag taking the all-time high. Normally, their targets as a perfection would be this one, but it doesn't say that, of course, you cannot hit only the 0.618 and then moving toward the downside. Okay, so I said this many times, and I remember that in every video, and I said what you don't like to see is the price moving toward the upside, hitting the 1-to-1 fib level, and then of course invalidation of this leading diagonal. And I said that even I prefer to move down from here because I see it more than enough finished impulse toward the upside, taking the all-time high, and we want to move toward the downside. So I don't know why you're still focusing on this blue zone. We don't need it, right? So basically, this is what I would like to say, guys. Please always watch the full video, what I'm saying during the analysis, and not just the blue box. Alright, so what I'm saying here is, of course, that we have finished a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Currently, we finished a nice impulse, of course, toward the upside. As you can see, if we zoom in, we have a 1, 2, 3, and you got your ending diagonal as a wave of 5, where you see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially one more leg toward the upside to finish, of course, a wave 5 and moving toward the downside. Even I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 can be finished, but yeah, preferably to take one more leg would be nicer. However, all what I care about here is that we finished a nice zigzag taking the all-time high. I don't care about the fibs. What I care, of course, is simply to stay under the 1-to-1 fib level currently, because we want to see a wave 4 and a wave 5 finishing a wave 1, of course, as a leading diagonal in continuation towards the upside. Currently, I'm expecting sooner or later, it is very obviously that sooner or later we might see one more leg potentially and then start the wave 4 toward the downside. Unless, of course, guys, this is gonna transform to something else. The market is always, of course, can change at any time. It can change at any second with any news, with any updates in the market. So basically, what I see based on the psychology right now, we see, of course, like sideways, and that means, of course, the market has started to estimate the top here. Yeah, well, what is gonna be the top? If we are going to see much more higher prices, it still can be, you still have onto this blue box. So even this blue box has been hit, you still, of course, inside a big zigzag 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This might be, of course, your wave 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 for a 1, 2 here, which is an ending diagonal, which is the most trickiest thing that it might happen in Elliott wave. An ending diagonal transform to a leading diagonal, pushing a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Meaning this ending diagonal can transform to 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to finish a wave 5 toward the upside. Everything is possible, guys. That's why I'm saying don't take right now like you see my arrow toward the downside, is that definitely we're gonna move toward the downside. Of course not, guys. This is only a prediction, and this is what we would like to see. But it doesn't mean that we move towards the downside directly. We might still, of course, hit this blue box. Nobody knows. It might transform as well as a 1, 2, leading diagonal, 3, 4, and a 5 toward the upside. Okay? And then bringing us with an aggressive leading diagonal again. Yeah, so someone told me, okay, you change this because of my comment, because you change nothing. I didn't change anything because of a comment or because of something wrong it was in the past. Everything is perfect. The analysis, the aggressivity of this leading diagonal will be adjusted simply with how much this wave 3 is aggressive, less or more. I cannot say where the price is gonna really hit, if it's gonna hit the blue box, or if it's gonna just hold on the 0.618. You have to adjust always your chart. So nothing is nothing is related to anything like I did something wrong or something and I change it. Of course, I have to adjust the aggressivity of this leading diagonal based on the PA, okay, price action. All right, guys. So, and then we're moving to the downside for a wave 4 and a 5. So this is my potential scenario, high possibility. I would like to see the reaction here. So one more wave to the upside leg as to finish, of course, a ending diagonal. We have to watch this area. Are we gonna move impulsively, or are we gonna move in 3 waves? If you move in 3 waves, the potential of moving toward the upside can, of course, move for higher. Most welcome, Shreyas. Welcome, bro. Most welcome, man. So basically, one more leg toward the upside for a wave 5 can identify, of course, this leading diagonal. In case we see 3 waves toward the downside, and I'm saying in case because even I, as an analyst, I don't know what's gonna be the reaction exactly there. So if we see 3 waves down, you might see potentially it opens the scenario for a wave 3, 4, and a 5 to finish a leading diagonal in 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, meaning you finish 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wave 5 as, of course, an impulse. Yeah, so these are the potential. Unless after this leg toward the upside, you would like to see an impulse directly toward the downside. Even if we see directly move toward the downside, okay, it's done, it's finished there. Yeah, because also you can read this, all of it, in case, look at the possibilities, guys, in case that we don't see a finished ending diagonal, you can call all of this 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 finished ending diagonal. Your wave 1 is very extended, it doesn't matter. This is not against the rule. Your wave 1 should be the longest, by the way. So in both case scenarios, you finished here a wave C, whether an ending diagonal, whether it is an impulse, and you have to be ready in case we move toward the downside. This is what I'm saying. All right, guys, so basically on the 15-minute chart, if we take a look here, you can see, of course, that there is a potential after, of course, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and a 5. You're looking still for a wave 5 here. In case, of course, we are still corrective, obviously this looks like an impulse, but it has to be because you need to finish ABC here. Your wave C has to be an impulse, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then moving one more leg toward the upside. If this doesn't happen and we move directly, simply you have to consider 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 finished already as an ending diagonal. This is your wave 3, by the way, A, B, and a C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Okay, and that is, of course, can be a finished wave 3 and moving toward the downside. Let's see the SPX. So For the SPX, what we are looking at as well to see if it is aligning with the Nasdaq, we're looking also at a potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Now, basically, you have finished definitely a wave A here. You're looking for the wave B, and this wave C might be still unfolding toward the upside, or it can be done because, again, you took the high, you see a clear impulse, correction, impulse, ABC already finished, and can be, of course, finished and moving toward the downside. So don't forget 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 ending diagonal can be considered as finished. You're looking at an impulse here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have to be careful. An impulse is, of course, saying what is the direction of the trend. If the trend is toward the downside, therefore, of course, we potentially continue for lower after 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. In a 1 hour chart, again, the same scenario. As you can see, the blue box, it is not necessarily to be hit. All what you need to see is an ABC finished, taking the high of the wave 1. This is the most perfect scenario to have a leading diagonal, right? Because, again, the 0.618 can be a target which is uncommon, but it is a target, right? It can be, it depends on how much the market is volatile and how much there is pressure on the price. So basically 1, 2, 3, we're looking for a wave 4. Basically, I would say finished ending diagonal as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, or A, B, and a C can be as well. It can be, by the way, this is your A, B, and a C for the wave 4. Nobody knows. You can get a very long wave C to create some FOMO and some fear in the market. We're moving very massively down. This might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, but it can be an extended wave C in a zigzag because you got an impulse. Wave B, wave C extended 1.618 is very possible, unless you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 real impulse, ABC towards the upside again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again for a wave 4. Yeah, so these are the potential scenario, and I see this as highest possibility. A, B, and a C based on the time. So yeah, basically this is what I would like to see. So let's adjust a little bit the paths. Of course, it's not 100%, guys, but this is what we are aiming for, like a zigzag toward the downside, or 3 waves corrective. It can be simply corrective flat. But yeah, this is what but it's impossible to be flat since you got an impulse, right? So already signaling a potential zigzag towards the downside. And of course, continuation for a wave 5, right? Now, why I didn't remove this? Because, yeah, again, what if that this diagonal here transform to a wave 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5? Who can know this? Yeah, so basically you finished here in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal. What if this ending diagonal transformed to wave 2 here, 1, 2, and then continue 3, 4, 5? I cannot know it. Oleg, welcome, bro. Gold, please. Yes, welcome, man. We're gonna see the gold. Yeah, so these are the potential scenarios. Be careful. Yeah, so what I'm saying, guys, that is probability 30-40% that it still can move for higher. Nobody knows. Yeah, so it depends on the news, psychology, trader influence, sentiments, a lot of things. You can see it exactly once you break the high. If you break the high, it says, okay, yeah, that is something still unfolding. We're moving higher, right? If you break the high. But if you move down after this impulse, continue toward the downside, okay, now the highest possibility is going for this wave 4, right? These are probabilities. We always give probabilities here. We never say something 100% is gonna happen. Probabilities, highest potentials, and you decide, of course, guys, and trade safe. Please let us know the bounce back values if the market drops in the next video wave 4 in Nasdaq, for example. Let me understand this again. Please let us know the bounce back values. Okay. Yeah, interesting question. Thank you, man. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so what are the fib levels you mean? Definitely you mean the fib levels. So here we go. So let's say we have topped and we're looking for a wave 4 in diagonal. As you can see, always my fib level has a green, gray, and white. Yeah, and those gray, white are normally uncommon. Most common target are always the green, and that's why you see, of course, only the green. And I turn off the uncommon just to make it less noisy for you guys for watching. Yeah, and that's why I turn it off to make it much pleasant to see the analysis and the things, and not getting like yeah, crowded with a lot of numbers and lines. Yeah, so this is the thing. Therefore, the next blue box right now might still be, of course, this wave 4 here. Yeah, between the 5,322 and 376. All right, let's remove this. It's done, finished. Yeah, I'm gonna remove this once we make sure we move down, and that's why I'm gonna leave it for now. Okay. Let's see the Nasdaq. Thank you for reminding me, Shreyas. Thank you, man. Nasdaq, back to Nasdaq. So the targets for a wave 4, in case we are moving for a wave 4 here, those are the perfect fib levels for a wave 4. Here we go. And here it gives us a little bit much more clue how much intense, or yeah, it can. But don't forget, those are only the perfect fib levels, and there are some uncommon targets which are in between them. Yeah. So here we go. Potentially next blue box is this one, between 18K 520, 18K 750. All right. So that was for Nasdaq and SPX. Let's move to the gold as a special request from Oleg. All right, XAU. So let's take a look at the gold today. Someone also asked me in the comment, what is the potential to take the high again from here? Like, I mean, from this price action. I replied very simply. The price is impulsive toward the downside. You created an impulse toward the downside. When you get an impulse toward the downside, means the trend line has shifted the direction toward the downside. When you get an impulse, meaning one of the two scenarios, whether you have a zigzag A, B, and a C, meaning you have to get a reply for the A with a C with the same price action, or you're gonna get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. You cannot get the high again, the all-time high, when you have an impulse. Very simple, of course, answer for this question. Yeah, when you have an impulse downward after a top, you cannot seek for the all-time high anymore right now. It's very dangerous, risky. All right. Most welcome, Shreyas. Most welcome, bro. Glad that it helps, man. All right, so let's see the gold. So basically for the gold, we have topped, as we mentioned. We have two scenarios. I'm not going to repeat very, very deep. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, leading diagonal again, where you finished a wave 3 in a leading diagonal, and you're moving toward the wave 4. Very deep wave 4, by the way. This is a blue box of a leading diagonal wave 4 between 1,850, 1,260. Okay? Second scenario is an A for the blue scenario you have to follow here, B, and then you're looking for a wave C in the blue. Yeah? Inside the wave C in the blue, you see an orange impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. This wave 4, in the impulse, you have 0.23, 0.38, 2,580, 2,180. And this, of course, meaning you would like to see 3 waves toward the downside hitting this wave 4 in orange, and continuation for a wave 5 for a wave C. Now, if this happened, guys, also it opens a bigger scenario. Well, I mentioned this many times in the video. In the 60s here, I know it's hard to see it, but I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. In the 60s, there was a 1, 2 here. Yeah, those we're talking 68, 900, 1968 till 970. You got a 1-2 here. Yeah, and it's hard to see it, of course, on the all-time history, but it is there. And what does it mean? It does mean, like, what if you have, of course, from this price action 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 impulse toward the upside, finishing wave 1 in an impulse, finishing wave 2 in an impulse, and not leading diagonal. If this happened that you took a wave 4, 5, that means, of course, you finished an impulse and not a zigzag. Yeah, and that changed a lot. That will bring a wave 3 as impulsive wave, because anyway, you might break the 1.618, which is, of course, a target. Yeah, and also bringing higher potentially after for a wave 4 and a 5, which is giving much more confirmation. And then getting a wave 4, which it might be, of course, a wave 4 for an impulse again, and then moving up for a wave 5 even one more time again. A huge impulse toward the upside might be just because of the 60s prices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, transforming this to an impulse rather than A, B, and a C. Always have all possibilities. That's all what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is gonna happen. It is a possibility. Maybe some of you will see, okay, this guy is not, I don't know, he's just looking at the 60s prices. Well, this is Elliott wave, guys. So it has some effect, of course, to turn this as an impulse, and this is gonna change the scenario, yes. So yeah, so these are the possibilities, guys, for the gold. Currently inside it, I think I was already very clear that we are impulsive. So minimum right now, you're looking for A, B, and a C as a zigzag. This is your minimum requirement. Or you're going to continue for a wave 3, 4, and a 5. Finish wave A, B, and a C, which is going to bring you to what? Let's see it again in a bigger view. Here we go. It's going to bring you to the blue box of the wave 4 in potentially 4 and a 5 for an impulse. Yeah, so these are the potentially scenarios that it might happen. A big ABC, guys. Targets, if we want to talk about, I think we already have something here. Let me check. Here we go. All right, so what do we have here? Yes, we set for the gold yesterday. We are in a wave 1 or a wave A. Here we go. Yeah, so wave 1, meaning wave 2, 3, 4, 5 toward the downside, or A, B, and a C. Minimum requirement is 1-to-1 fib level, right? So let me clean up again here. I think it is more than enough, all right? 3,500, very nice psychological number. We can keep it just to remind it. All right, so basically what we are looking at a target here is the following. If you have an A, B, and a C, this is the highest retracement as a wave B. You're looking here for a zigzag, right? Let's say a zigzag. So your first fib level, as you can see, again, zigzag. Look at the fib levels, guys. Most common target for a zigzag is 1-to-1 fib level. However, sometimes it is an uncommon target where you get a short wave C for a zigzag, which is a 0.618 again. Sometimes you get a very, very positive market or very, very intense market. You get a very extended wave C 1.618. However, those two are uncommon. The most common is 1-to-1 fib level. Therefore, I just turn off this to make it less for you guys. And of course, I always have this in mind anyway. And this, of course, is gonna finish a wave C potentially at the 1-to-1 fib level here. Now, normally wave C can be, of course, a wave 3 a little bit higher. Of course, it needs a little bit higher, but very close for a wave 3. And then what you get in addition of this zigzag, especially if you overshoot a little bit, you can get a 4 and a 5. All right? Meaning an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially finishing again with this impulse and A, right? A, 3 waves up for B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again for a wave C, which is exactly gonna bring you to the fib level that you see here, of course, 2,500 for, of course, this wave 4, right? and it can be of course sharper. It depends on the price action. You cannot really define. But minimum target for gold, if we are retracing really here, minimum target I see is 2,585, which is a reasonable price after seeing a 3,500, 1,000 minus. Yeah, it's very logical, right? Yeah, which is almost less than 30%. Let me check how much percentage it is. 25%, very, very reasonable, right? 25 to 26%. So yeah, very reasonable after a very, very massive move toward the upside, right? For the gold. All right, so that was for the gold. Now, any other special request? I think no. Okay, so far. So I'm gonna just take a look at Nvidia for you guys because I know it is based on the analytics of the channel. You love this stock market as Nvidia. So yeah, so what we are looking at in Nvidia is also this recovery market that we see, of course, in Nasdaq as well. However, in Nvidia, as you might have seen, we didn't took the high, opening a question mark, right? Now we see an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, but we didn't took the high as the same as Nasdaq and SPX. So yeah, we have to be careful. Now we got something very deep, of course, based on the 1-hour chart. We see something very deep, but it might be, of course, after 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, you're looking for a deep wave B and then an impulse toward the upside. It doesn't have to be aligned 100% with SPX and Nasdaq, but of course it shows that there is a potential to of course move toward the upside. Our target is to take the high, very simply, guys. The price might stop here, nobody knows, yeah. So and then moving down. So for Nvidia, I'm still, of course, positive on it. I don't see really a very massive move toward the downside. Now, I see, of course, an impulse here as a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, a 4, and a 5. It might be an impulse, right? And it might be, of course, an A, B, and a C here, a small impulse, of course, for lower. Let me check even. Here we go. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Your wave 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So perfect impulse here, finished. So I cannot deny that this can be an A, B, and a C. And that because if you take 1 to 1 fib level, it is a perfect zigzag. Yep, here we go. All right. So these are the potential scenarios. And now we're moving again impulsively toward the upside. But we're going to see, of course, and watch what's gonna happen in Nvidia. I might make a special video for Nvidia today and for Tesla. Yep, so that was the short live stream, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you also for your presence, Shreyas and Oleg. And of course, see you in the next one. Apple as results due. Yeah, I'm gonna do Apple in a video today. By the way, it is already scheduled on the list, but yeah, basically Apple is also, yeah, didn't took the high yet. Yeah, so what I would like to see is to take the high, and this is how I estimate the market potential, if there is a potential continuation for higher or not. But basically, we see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, very tricky here. It can be, let's move to the 15-minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you see there is some corrective things here, and it doesn't look good. Yeah, so something corrective is unfolding here. But you got an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this, if it's gonna turn corrective, it might be an ABC and then moving later on for wave C. Yeah, but this has turned to be a little bit corrective rather than impulsive. Or let me check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, invalidation again. There is no impulse here. This is a problem. You cannot count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is a problem. Wave 4 interfered with the zone 1, but I'm gonna check in deep later on and make a video for Apple. All right, guys, welcome to the live stream, and see you in the next one. I wish you to have a nice day and trade safe always. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.